The inability to focus is one of the biggest issues we're facing in modern times. And to me, it's only getting worse because the world around you is set up in a way that makes sitting down to focus on meaningful deep work very difficult. So today I'm going to talk about why the people that can focus will have a serious advantage moving forward and how you can develop this for yourself. Because after all, your ability to focus is just like a muscle. Anybody can develop it. Many people think the ability to focus is just inborn, like it's genetic. But the truth is that is not the case at all. It's like a muscle. Anybody can develop the ability to focus like anybody can build their muscle. But doing so requires you're actually intentional and conscious with your efforts and your choices every day, like somebody who's serious about building their body. You can't just be passive and expect that the ability to focus will come naturally. That's not the case at all. And the problem is that social media, text messages, emails, and all these other notifications within our world, they're always pulling our attention away in different directions. And when we get a buzz or we hear a ding on our phone, it's interesting. And our brains are novelty-seeking machines. We're always looking out for these new things, these new fascinating and interesting things happening around us that can make our life more enjoyable. This is why you can be doing deep work at your job or with your business or even having a conversation with family members and you hear your phone go off and you immediately turn to it. You know that, okay, well, I gotta focus on more important things right now, but that pull, that draw from your phone is so novel, and that novelty is fascinating. And there's also been this cultural shift where our mindset around communication is that whenever we reach out to somebody, they should respond to us immediately. Or when other people reach out to us, they expect us to respond to them immediately. I'm of the generation of people who always had cell phones. All right, my parents had cell phones my entire life. I got a cell phone when I was like 13, 14 years old, and these days kids are getting them even younger. But in the past, from what I've been told, people only had home phones. So if you called somebody, they might not answer and they might not get to that phone call or listen to that message for hours or even days. But now things are completely different. Everybody has smartphones with text, email, social media, and notifications are instant. So what this has done is it's created this false and inflated sense of urgency around any form of communication. And we feel so compelled to answer and check on these notifications and respond to people as soon as we can. Even though our brains were not designed for this. They're not meant to handle this. And quite honestly, we shouldn't be living like this. You can consciously know that, okay, this notification can wait. I got more important things to do with my deep focus. But neurologically, your brain wants to investigate. Because as I said, novelty is so fascinating to the brain and we want to know what's going on around us all the time. And on top of this, we have the cultural influence and the societal shift in communication. So this is why doing deep work and truly focusing on what matters in this world of distractions is so difficult. I'm not saying we gotta stop using our phones or stop checking social media and stop responding to text messages or emails. But rather, this is about reframing your priorities and setting those hard boundaries. And after this, now it's time to get clear on what exactly you'll be focusing on with the time you have available. For me, this involves writing newsletters. This involves making these videos. This involves working with one-to-one clients. These to me are the high leverage tasks, but we can take things even further because we can identify the high leverage task, but now we got to figure out, okay, when in the day can I do these high leverage tasks? And when can I do these high leverage tasks at peak performance, when my energy levels are high, when I'm thinking clearly, and when I'm eager and excited to actually work on them? Everybody has what I like to call the right cognitive time frame where they can work on these high leverage tasks and actually perform at their best. Dr. James Hewitt has done a lot of research in terms of peak performance and your ability to actually focus when doing deep work. What he found was that everybody has gears when doing specific work. And there are 3 gears. The first gear is routine or autopilot. This is when you're doing those basic monotonous things that don't require much brain power. The second gear is reactive or response. Most people are in the second gear all day. And that's why they don't truly experience deep work and flow states. The third gear is deep and creative. This is when the person is fully immersed in the present moment, they're locked into whatever it is they're doing, and there are no other distractions. It's like me making these videos. There's nothing else going on. I'm fully here, fully present. Now, workplace culture and society as a whole, they tend to prioritize productivity, getting more things done, responding to people immediately. It's a very reactive work culture. But the thing is, this will keep you stuck in first or second gear. High leverage and deep and meaningful work comes in third gear, when you're fully immersed in that moment, when you're locked in on one single task at a time. When you're always reacting to things, when you're always trying to put out fires over here and respond to this person and answering this text message and making this call and being distracted by all these other circumstances, then you're reactionary. When you're reactionary, you can't focus. When you can't focus, you can't get into flow. When you can't get into flow, then the work you do is subpar. Simple as that. You want to experience more of this third gear, more of this deep and creative momentum within your mind, all right? This is when the highest leverage work gets done at the highest level. But the question is, how can you do this? And quite honestly, it's pretty simple. I know not everybody can control their schedule or what it is they're working on, but you can implement some of these tweaks and really change the way you go about getting work done. The first thing is batch. And when I say batch, I mean putting one specific and monotonous task in a certain time block. So for me, that's answering emails. I used to just be reactionary with my job and with my business and just respond to emails as soon as they came in. These days, I'll check my email probably 3 or 4 times throughout the day in a specific time block, and I'll respond to any of them that need to be responded to. And typically this is in the early afternoon and the late afternoon when my deep work sessions have already happened. What this does is it allows you to single task focus on high leverage tasks rather than just being reactionary. Because when you're reactionary, then you're task switching from one thing to the next. And when you task switch, that makes refocusing on that high leverage task very difficult. The second thing you're gonna wanna do is block. And when I say block, I mean time blocking specific sections throughout the day where you're gonna do high leverage work. I strongly recommend you find times in the day where your energy is high and you have peak mental clarity. So for me, that's typically 6 to 6:30 a.m. to about 10:30 a.m. In that time, I can get a lot of work done at a higher clip because I'm thinking clearly, because I'm energized, because I'm rested. Now, this is different for everybody, but most people would agree that by 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., they feel a slight dip in energy. And that's okay. What that means is that in that time block, you don't want to do deep, high leverage work. Perhaps in those times, what you want to do is find simpler and lower leverage work that doesn't require as much brain power or energy. The third thing is protect. Once you have these clear guidelines on when you're gonna do deep work and when you're gonna respond to those emails and those text messages and DMs with that second gear type of work, be serious about it, commit to it. Set those boundaries and stick to it. Remember, focus is a skill. And if you make the intentional, conscious choices every single day to protect your attention and focus on what matters, then your ability to get things done will significantly improve. And in this world, if you can set those hard boundaries and focus on what matters, then the world is your oyster. With the right mindset, anybody can develop their ability to focus. And it starts with you. And you can start today. So give it a go. I'll see you in the next video.